this goes to the next area, next question I want to ask you, which is within this candidate experience and overall culture, you're a C-suite individual, right? So, as a leader in the organization, you've got a lot to say on company culture from a leader's perspective. So, HR can absolutely be, like you said, like a lead in helping us manage our company culture. But really, the culture isn't owned by HR, right? And it's not even owned by leadership, right? Every company has a culture, whether you define it or not. But what do you think of the leadership role? You're a part of the leadership of the organization. What is your role in particular as a part of the leadership in helping establish this culture, this employee engagement, even during that onboarding process? What's your role in all this?
Yeah, you're right. HR isn't accountable for the culture, right? And it's not even executive leadership. It is every single person that is at that company is an ingredient towards that culture. So they're responsible. But the hiring manager, I would say, is accountable to
Mm,
ensure that that is maintained. So at DigiCert, for example, our values are super clear. We're obsessed with our customers. We continuously learn. We have a set list of criteria. And one of the things that I do is during each performance review period, I ensure that I performance manage and critique each of my team members against our values, right? It is our job that now that these folks have onboarded and they've got an introduction to them, that we are really fostering and growing and nurturing that to be experienced by all other members of the team throughout the life cycle of that resource.
I love it because the fact that you have company cultures, a culture isn't different or even values isn't different, but sometimes that can be just a page on the website, a plaque on the wall, right? But you're actually using it for accountability. You're using it, you're training. It's an active part. That's one of the biggest parts, I think, of being a leader in the organization is deciding what we want our company culture to be and then being an active participant in it, holding people accountable, not in a punitive way or anything, right? You got an 8-year-old kid, I've got 4 teenagers. I know if you don't manage it, right, it's going to go off the rails.
Absolutely. And I think the other part is when we bring in these resources, we trust them, right? So you have 14-year-old kids, I have an 8-year-old kid. We have to trust and empower them. So another thing that I do, and I will always, I feel like, do is if you're in my organization on my team, we work in sprints. And within that, in your retrospective, the teams are self governing, but I want their retrospectives or their lessons learned from that sprint to be anchor on the company values. So
Mhm.
at that point, the team themselves, in order to help themselves, are coming up with what went well and opportunities across that 2-week period that they can then enact into the next 2 week, right? So it is that continuous learning, that continuous iteration, but it doesn't have to come from me. I am accountable. They are a self-governing team. That's why we brought in the talent that we did in the first place to continue fostering this.